We have with us the Imperial Grand Potentate himself, Dr. Malachi Z. York.
They keep saying that the cult doesn't call that. Unless all Freemasons worldwide are a cult, then we're not a cult.
This is from the Nuwaubian Moore newsletter in 1997. This is the first president of the United States who was a black man, a Moore.
I'm not saying that I didn't like Clinton. I like Clinton because he was a black president, you know, not the first, but one of the first black presidents. But
in this community, various wisdom traditions from Africa are prioritized, such as African science, the quote, African-derived hoodoo traditions, Sufism, the quote, master of ancient mysteries, and so on. Given this background, it makes sense that the Nuwaubians would develop a bricolage of wisdom traditions from Islam, Judaism, Yoruba, and even Egyptian religion. This is a quote here from Dwight York, the founder of the Nuwaubians, Dwight York. Christianity is merely a tool used by the devil, pale man, to keep you, the Nubian, black, man, woman, and child, blind to your true heritage and perfect way of life, Islam. It is another means of slavery. The earliest pamphlets by Al-Mahdi appear to date back to the early 1970s. They admonished black Americans to reconsider their true identity, common theme. The pamphlets assert black Americans are descendants from Kedar, son of Ishmael, and the Vakivor are Nubians, and not only the true Arabs, but also the true Hebrews. Moreover, the book would state that the true Muslims ought to observe the Sabbath and the rules of the Torah, and that following Al-Mahdi can relieve their suffering. Later writings advise learning their true language, meaning Arabic or Kufic, and to fit the right of American Muslims to identify with Sufism. There was a period from the late 70s to 80s when Al-Mahdi suggested he either has special knowledge or is himself Jesus. This is a common theme in these alternative religions, is that Christianity is a tool of oppressor to keep you away from who you really are. That's a common theme, whether it's Hebrew Israelites, Nation of Islam, Nuwaubians.
So if you're saying, obviously, the beginning, there was a reconstruction, so you're saying there was human beings before then, and that was African.
It says, I create Adam. He didn't say the whole race of the planet. So your Adam story, okay, is a story that's taken from...
Where do you get where do you get that? From the scripture that there was
the scriptures of your 66 books, which make up the Bible. The first 5 books, the Torah.
So this is the same man at a ceremony. This is not a scene from a movie. This is one of their religious processions that literally has the jackal-headed god in the march. Do you see them? These are the Nuwaubians.
Wow. What's on their heads?
Well, they're trying to imitate Egyptian headwear. But the other is the fez caps, which actually comes out of mainly Moorish. This Nuwaubian fez actually is at the Smithsonian. If you understand Smithsonian, it's a very prestigious American museum. Here you have this at the National Museum of American History, donated by Africa Bambaataa, one of the pioneers of hip-hop.
I'm just saying.
I would say there's only one. Do you have like a book you refer to? Like
a thousand books that our master teacher has written and answering every question.
So not the Bible, not the Quran, nothing like that. You have your own separate
everything
books.
comes out of ancient Egypt. It's all to do with the language.
It's all about Egypt. Okay.
All these stories are taken out from ancient Egypt, and they just spin symbols, everything.
Okay,
they just
I see.
It's all been taken out there. Language, it's all to do with the language.
Okay. So this is quite an ancient thing. And you're just kind of renewing it. You're trying to tell people about
it. It's always been there. You go to Egypt, you see it. Stuff.
So you wouldn't believe in one God, you believe in numerous gods, like Ra and that lot?
There's many gods.
You got the Eye of Ra, right?
There's many gods. It depends which god they're referring to. Religion's got this god, they talk about which god, devil did it, etc.
Can I ask you a question, brother?
Anything.
You say everything comes out of Egypt, right? So that's why you're into this? You think it's important? Are you Egyptian?
Everything come out of Africa.
Right, but you're not Egyptian, so why are you into this system? I'm just trying to
We're ancient Egyptians. Now you see the Egyptians now, you see they're not originally black, they're different now. Everything's been taken.
Are your ancestors originally
Egyptians, yes.
How do you know
we
that?
all moved because we can prove that.
How would you prove that?
You can prove that through race, you can prove it through genetic. Like we say, who's your creator? Where did you come from?
Can I show you a picture? It's kind of an offensive picture, but I didn't make it. The Egyptians made it, and it shows them owning Nubian slaves, and they're bound on their knees, and it's in the tombs of the pharaohs. Can I show you the picture on my phone?
You can show a picture, but pictures are pictures.
I'll show you a picture.
We'll have
it on a
The language, when you translate something to English, English means that's what the trick of the fact is. Remember, everything is now. Okay, so for instance, you get the word genes, and genes is about genes and genetics, and genes sound the same. Okay, but this is how they trick them. But that's in English. That's in English. That's why. But
I'm saying for another language to English, how is a word that's different from each other?
So if you just look at it in general, there's certain phrases in different languages that you can't translate to. Like you can say it, but it has a completely different meaning. Scripts of certain languages into English, or if it's translated from one language to another language, you lose the meaning every time it gets translated. So that's basically what he's doing.
Your teacher reads letters? Yeah, see, you should know that word.
I know what it
means.
means.
The hieroglyphs.
Does he read it?
Yeah.
Must he read many different
Can
things.
he read from the wall the Medu Netter?
He has scrolls that talk
So he knows
all those scrolls he's translated.
That's a really rare school. He should probably be teaching at the university, yeah?
He's got scrolls that talk about hieroglyphs.
But if he took you to Egypt, he'd be able to tour guide you and read the actual hieroglyphs on the wall, understanding the pictographs. Because if he has it, then your information is not really...
Everything. That's why
He can translate everything. Does he know every language that's ever created?
Serious?
Every language. Even Pig Latin? You know Pig Latin too?
Most languages got dialects. What do you think? There's the confusion, especially like Muslim, they've got different dialects.
Is your teacher here? We can ask him to translate the Medu Netter. What language is he using in there? The leader is Dwight D. York, also goes by Almaty. He was arrested on charges of racketeering and transporting children across state lines for the purpose of criminal sexual activity. It's actually way, way worse than the little blurb is, but we're going to go down a rabbit hole if we start talking about all the stuff that happened with that. Is your teacher here? We can ask him to translate the Medu Netter. What language is he using in there? Is he reading different languages while he's incarcerated? Yeah. These books are in English, right?
Let's just stop a second, because I don't feel like we're making any progress with all this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What is the...
Here's what I wanted to show you.
Okay. What is your religion? Like, what is you?
I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian
as well.
But these are facts either way, right? This is Ramses II, the entrance to the temple, right? You guys seen this before? And when you go inside, at the bottom of the Pharaoh's feet, they have this picture. Could you tell me what ethnicity these gentlemen look like who are bound? The features, the phenotype? They're described as Nubians in the text.
It could be, I don't personally know.
Well, it says they're Nubians though in the text. Your teacher could confirm it if he's able to read. So here's my point by saying that. Now let's get a close-up of that. Those are clearly Nubians, right?
What's the point?
These brothers are enslaved by ancient Egyptians. Yet you're worshiping a foreign god when you go to Egypt. Now I can prove it. I'm going to show you
how many versions of Egyptians.
Now let's look at it. Now let's look.
People have invaded
let's
and
look
they've taken over.
at the 12th dynasty official.
So let's just stop this there, because I see
Hold on.
recording.
I want to.
don't have any intention
But here's the Egyptians,
to
brother.
learn about our culture.
Do they look like Nubians to you?
There's no point going back and
Okay,
forth.
I just
You
want
said
to
to
quickly...
Google research.
Sorry.
Look, I'm telling you
what
now, we have a store there. We have question and answer classes 7
Well, so I
p.m.
can
to
teach you,
9:30.
about
Living
your
on
own
Clubhouse if you want to
history.
do
You wanna
that.
sell
Oh, you're
something?
online as well.
I'm not telling you nothing.
You tell me to go to a store.
I'm not telling you to ask the question. We answered your question.
But I said, would you be interested in the picture? You said yes until I showed it. You became uninterested.
It's nothing to do with that. I'm saying you have questions that you have that are burning on your chest that you want to express.
This isn't
I
a
said
question.
We have question and answer class. If you have any questions
Brother,
or
you see
any
the
points you
Egyptian
want
here?
to highlight,
Does that look like the Nubian and does that look like you? Why are you being colonized by Egyptians? You are. You're wearing their ankh, and yet these light-skinned, olive, dark brown.
What does Egyptian mean? Yeah.
Oh, so you want to change the
I'm
subject?
asking you, what does it mean? You said we're colonized by Egyptians.
Kemet.
What is Egyptian?
It has to do with the dark land because of the vegetation. What you're going to try to say has to do with the color, but no Egyptologist is going to agree with you. I already know where you're going with Kemet.
You said Egyptian.
That's a Greek word. That's a Greek word, which I know, but we're speaking English. Most people don't know the word Kemet, but when I saw them, they did not use the word Kemet because I saw the Ankhs and the Eye of Ra.
You only use Kemet now.
But here's the thing. These are ancient Egyptians. Now these are Semites. The reason I have this is because I have an interest also in how ancient Hebrews looked. But they don't look like you, brother. they're enslaving people who look like you. Why are you into their religion? Yeah, there's your type. There's your type, brother, the Nubian.
I feel like we're not going anywhere with this. It's like we're just arguing.
But why don't you care about truth? You said Google and research, and I got a picture here.
You want to Google and research. You want to speak to a teacher that would explain stuff to yourself.
Okay.
You can ask that question. If you want to ask that question, go to our question and answer class. It's at 7 p.m. today. We have a clubhouse.
Tell you what.
Bring that picture. Ask that question.
I won't be here. You can probably tell I'm American.
It's all good.
So I got somewhere to go. But check this out. When you ask the question about this for me, I will text you this picture. If you could give me some social media, I'll send you this picture.
You said?
Yes.
There's classes in America as well.
Oh, wow, you're
I would go to them actually. I actually would do that. I'm not lying. I've done this kind of thing before. Now here, I do like the willingness to be out here on the side.
Are you okay with videoing you?
And I do like the uniforms.
Oh, sorry.
But I don't like the unwillingness to look at pictures right in front of your eyes.
Get reactions.
No. Oh, no, sorry. Sorry.
What's your agenda?
No, so you see when I asked you
What's your
about the
agenda?
message
You're the
of
one out there
concern,
with the
we
flyers.
basically ultimately want to share messages.
Your agenda is to throw people
So,
into
like, for
a Q&A
example,
class. Let's have a Q&A
I'll just
class right
post
here,
on. I'll just film it on him. For example, no, the
You have an agenda. You're the one with flyers.
We would want you
just
to.
sharing our information about our history.
And I'm sharing information about your history
But
as
it's
well.
nothing to relate to me because we're here.
I'm saying to you, when we talk in harmony and peace. So we can lower our frequency because, voice protection is to be very aggressive.
Are you with them too?
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying to you,
can I show you this then, sister?
Can I speak first, darling? What I'm saying to you, darling, what I say is that before you start filming anybody, you want permission. You have data permission and saying, is it okay that we know that you got your...
You're in a public space, so it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we thought. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sister, check this out. These are the Egyptian tombs.
I've been there already.
Did you see bound at the feet the Nubian slaves?
It's basically
You see the phenotype of these Nubians?
Yeah, that's fine. I think we've seen it.
Right there.
Can I just say what I'm saying first before you say that? I'm saying.
Look how humiliated they are.
Can you stop calling off my auntie? It's like you're just being disrespectful. She's just trying to speak to you on a level and you're just disregarding what she's saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not going anywhere with this conversation, so can you just go somewhere else?
What you're trying to do is, since you don't like information, you're trying to tone police.
I said, look, we have question and answer class. We have a question and answer.
Because you don't want to have a conversation.
No, because you're not listening to me. I've spoken to you in many ways. I've been calm and collected.
More commonly known as the Nuwaubians. This is described as one of the most dynamic pamphlets in history. I know it's cut off, but that's what it says here. But if you look, it says Allah, Muhammad, Ahmadi, and has all this stuff on there. And he describes, this is what he says, the word Orthodox has no Islamic beginnings. Orthodox was made up by the Pale Man. What he's trying to say is, you're trying to say I'm unorthodox Islam, but that is an imagined category made by white people. That's what he's saying. It's sort of a defense against the idea that he's not orthodox. Because what happened is the Nuwaubians over time, and again, they started in the States, but they have spread all over, and have influenced others. They got less and less Islamic over time and got more and more Afrocentric, specifically Kemetic, which means finding connections to Egypt. And so at this time in America in general, there was sort of an obsession with what was understood to be then as Orientalism. But it also bled over into black communities as well. And so some of these religions have a lot of that going on. And when that was going down, they wanted to detach themselves from what they saw as white supremacist Christianity and wanted to find some other source of legitimacy. And so they would often turn to the East. Some of their beliefs are as follows. These are pretty wild. Muhammad was a Hebrew who adhered to Israelite law. So this is an interesting one. An interesting discussion about that is, are Muslims allowed to eat camel? Because in the Old Testament you can't eat camel, but Muhammad seemed to say that you can. Muhammad's heavenly ascension took place on a spaceship. Abraham enlisted the help of a pharaonic regime to genetically engineer pigs as food for white people.
He's the clever guy.
This is Dr. York's writings. He's not a real doctor, by the way, as you probably could have guessed. But this is...
He's certainly a doctor description.
Yeah.
They don't get killed for this?
Well, they're in the States, mainly. But not only. Again, So what happens is sometimes there's a diffusion of these kinds of beliefs where even if the group itself is not prominent anymore, ideas have influenced a lot of people, but they themselves are no longer prominent.
Look at Colossians 1:16, because one of many places where the term uraiu is used. So go ahead, look at a lexicon. Let's find the definition, so then we don't have. Then we can move on.
The constellations, Orion and all that are mentioned in the Bible.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm talking about the word heaven. Now you're going.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so I know. So is butter and garlic. I'm just looking.
No, it's not. Where's that in the scriptures?
In the Old Testament.
Yeah, let's get to the bottom of the...
Heaven is in...
Colossians 1:16 is one of many words. Colossians 1:16.
Job 9:9.
No, but he's giving
No, I'm giving you... No, you quoted the Greek word.
That was the Greek.
Uraiu. I'm asking you... I'm telling you where one place is used, because it talks about Jesus creating all things. All things are through him and for him, whether heavens... You know? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what happened is, he says he follows traditions that are from Egypt because he says that they believe that everything comes from Egypt. So I first of all showed him pictures of Egyptians. These are the way Egyptians portray themselves. Now they're with Semitic traders. This is helpful because you see the Egyptian skin tone and phenotype. I understand it's some idealized art, but then you also see the Semitic skin tone and phenotype, and there you can compare the two. So we're getting kind of a base between Egyptians and Semites there. Now we don't know what Semites these are particularly. Some speculate they could be Hebrews, we don't know for sure. But then now we move on to say, okay, now let's look at the Ramesses II temple entrance at Abu Simbel. So here are these Egyptian pharaohs, of course, right? Again, now compare these facial features, and I understand they're stylized or idealized, and we're going to now go to look at some Nubians who are portrayed as in slave reliefs at the bottom of these pharaohs' feet. There's a far away of the Nubians who are portrayed. So these have phenotypical, not far North African features like we just saw with the Egyptians. Now we don't have color in these reliefs, but we do have phenotypes, especially give that an example. Now I'm going to do a close-up of this picture. There is even further close-up, and notice they are bound. See what's on the elbows? They are in a position of submission. These are described as slaves. This phenotype is what would be much closer to the gentleman we are speaking to, right? And yet, they're out here touting those who enslaved them. So my point to them was, you're following an imperialist religion from a North African power. What are you doing, bro? Especially since you're not Egyptian, and we can tell by these images. That's all I'm saying.
I think we're gonna